homies. We're going to start the show in about 2 to 3 minutes. We'll wait for the chat to pack up, and then I'll start reading chat and answer the skill testing question. Do you love pizza? Oh, last night I had the greatest pizza. If I could have made my wife regurgitate the pizza, I would have had more of it. Do you believe pizza is of God? Type 1. There's your skill testing question of the day. How you doing, homies? Obviously, it's not even a real question, but what is reality? If they got us doing this, what is reality? You know? And we're back. Yeah, I got a conscience. My mom instilled a conscience into myself, and it really paid off in the end. It paid off for humanity, for everybody. I have heartfelt feelings because of my conscience, I make smart decisions, rational decisions. Oh my God. If you know what I'm saying. So, Pubg. In just a few here, we're getting into some pressing matters, as of course you would think we would be on a day like today. Let's get some. Got a sweep vacuum and mop this evening, this afternoon, late. 4:25, pretty much, something like that. 5:30, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Get it all done today, though. Finished touch-up paint, so all that's put away. Just really just got to clean the grates, like vacuum the grates. So I did it in the fall, in the summertime. I didn't really see the need then, but did it again a few months later. I think it was beginning of summer, June. I did it in middle or end of August. I did it again because I had the shop vacs were all accessible and out and ready to go. I have 3 shop vacs and they're very expensive. You wouldn't even believe me if I told you. We went into Home Depot. They had the wrong. I swear to God, like there's cameras in there. You can't. I think it's probably against the law to take a price tag and change it to another one. So the tag was there. Actually, it was a tag on the shelf, and I said to her, I said, look, the barcode matches the box. This box, and the vacuum is a $500 now. It's like a 2-in-1 vacuum type thing, shop vac, but it's big. It's very big, and probably about 300, 355, or 375 American before tax, but 500 for us here in Canada. And but at the time, I think it was like 470 or 420 or something like that before tax. But I saw it went up in a flyer. Actually, I was like, "Look, honey, it went up in price."
and we paid 120 or 150 for this thing, and at the time we weren't like strapped, but it was an extra 150, so we had to pull it from something else and go without, some very, like, I probably didn't have protein shake for 30 days or 60 days, because of that. But no big deal, because there's only so much money. I don't know what everybody thinks, but that's how it is. And like, did you see me have any tea for like 70 days? It's because we didn't have any. I didn't. That's just how it is. Tea is quite expensive, so I didn't get any. It's like an extra. My almond drink is expensive, so not super expensive. I don't want to go deterring anybody. It costs money. Okay, almond drink costs money, and I drink it. It's protein. It's got 8 grams of protein per cup. The whole big jug of almond drink has like 70 grams of protein, 64 grams of protein, something like that. So I get a bunch of those sometimes. And I'll make protein shakes with it, or I'll use tea and have protein shakes, which now I'm thinking is actually way cheaper. 100 tea bags is 25 bucks or something like that, 30 bucks. So I get like 200 tea bags every 4 months or something, 2 months. Depends, like for a while I went 4 months there without, or, you know, I had 200 tea bags to last me 5 months, and I ran out 2 months ago, you know what I mean? And I didn't get any till last week. So that's how she is. Or we had a box and it was stuffed to the side of the wall. My wife cleaned the pantry and she didn't notice it right away. I think that's what it was, because we didn't buy any. We don't even have Amazon. So we don't have Amazon Prime, we don't have Netflix, we don't have all these extra things that cost money. We don't have those things. We're going without that stuff. We have each other, we can play crib against each other, we can play checkers or something, chess we play. We play Magic the Gathering, and if you don't believe me, maybe I'll do an audio taping of a video, of a podcast of us playing Magic today, which I think would be pretty cool. And it's Magic the Gathering. It's a card game. I'm not like into. I don't. I'm not into black magic or anything like that. I don't believe in Satan. I believe in the devil. I believe that the devil is not a real person, but that he's like people believe in God. I believe in. Of course, I want to believe in God. Have I seen him? No, but have I felt his presence? Maybe. I hope I have. It's hard to say. I'm not trying to sound crazy or anything, but I felt the presence of something, okay? Something higher and bigger than myself. But at the same time, and it was warm and fuzzy, but it could have been a spirit, come over me. Who knows what it was? Who knows what it was? And it happened like once or twice in my life, but I was like, what is that feeling? And I had never had it before. It was very unique. But at the same time, I also believe that there is evil that can, you know, come across a person, right? And you just have to put them in jail and, like, I believe good people are police who do deal with bad people, right? You can't be that way and be like, oh, there are police who are good people who just risk their lives to go put the bad guy in jail, right? Save the mom and the kid, right? So, crazy people, right? Like super crazy people that are hurting someone in the moment need to be, have police, protection, right? The victims, right? It's not always the case though, right? It's like, oh, are you this and that? You know what I mean? And if you're not, then do they get there in the same amount of time they'd get there if you were, you know, a president or a prime minister, right? So are these people above others, right? In the sense that they get protection from, these other people. You gotta question these things, right? We all need to be protected and guarded at the same level, equally. Some can't have higher priority over us. It's not cool. But yet, this is the way, right? And now you have a lot of old people piping, oh yeah, because, no, that's not true. That's not true. It should be. everybody has the same rights. This is a fair and free world, just. But you can't really have an argument, or you can't have a conversation, because it quickly turns into an argument with people who are ignorant, right? Ignorant to just hearing out the other side and the other perspective that they obviously have never had. And there's a lot to be said for people hearing someone out. You know, there's a lot of people that are, within the 5 minutes, you can be reassured this person is a complete donk. Donk! Or, holy shnikes, this person is making some serious sense and it feels right, right? There's that, you have a conscience inside of you and it guides you, but it also tells you green light, red light, you know, this type of thing. And I'll explain. When your conscience doesn't want you to do something, you become filled with angst. And it is to try and get you to stop. It's begging you, your conscience is talking to you, but you haven't learned how to recognize those signals. It's very important when your conscience speaks to you that you stop and you listen. It doesn't speak words. It's either making you feel good, saying, I believe in you, you're doing the right thing, or the opposite. Stop right now. You're doing something you're going to regret. So, your conscience is the highest power you have. That's it. Each of us, it gets really deep, but if you want to hear how not layman's terms, you all make up your own world. Period. Like I know it's like, oh yeah, but I can't do this. Or you have created these can'ts with your fears continuously, right? Continuously brought yourself, pushed yourself into a box further and further. All your creative thoughts you've ever had. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, I need this before I can do that. Remember that thing I said about the tool? Yeah, well, in order to do the business, I'm going to need to do this, this, and this, right? Is there something you could do in the interim that would, could make it worthwhile or helpful come the time of? Could you gather something, in the interim, whether it be knowledge, or could you speak with other business people who are in that sector to learn the do's and don'ts before you get into it yourself? Are you kidding me? That you're just waiting for everything to spring into your lap. And believe me when I say there are those that it does spring into your lap. They're like 90% of us will not have something favorable happen business-wise in our lifetime. And 10% will be granted the investor, the cash, straight cash, or somebody who takes you under their wing in a polite way, not a need something out of you at the end of the day way. And they're like, hey, you know what? This is what you should be doing. Like this is here. I'm going to teach you the ropes, the ins and outs of this, and it's exactly what you've always wanted. There are some people out there that will help you. I was one of those guys, but I always said you can't use it for greed-driven purposes. And if you were, you can't. Just don't let me catch you. Don't let me catch you. And some of them were, and I'll never forget. I'll never forget that some people watched the show and profited for greed-driven purposes. I'll never forget. Near a zero in my books. Some of you are like, oh, I didn't see any of that content on your page. Well, yeah, I mean, like, that's your loss. If you weren't around for the good old days, when you could be monetized for having a room full, but moving forward now into this way of thinking, how does one even consider to make money on YouTube in this day and age, right? You gotta rotate 1,857% to the left, and keep going. And where I'm from, that's easy, right? All we know is how to keep going. When you live in Canada and there's 6 miles of back roads in front of you, and you somehow ended up in the back seat of a Chevette with, 3 hot chicks in the back and 2 weird-looking dudes in the front, driving with no brains and they're a couple years older than you, and you're the boss. You are the boss, and you're sitting there trying to figure out how you have snowbanks coming over the front end of the vehicle. And yeah, you're doing some, you're moving, so you're laughing, you're having a ball because you can't really injure yourself in this type of literally, it's like snowboarding powder, right? You just sit there on the snow and just snowboard for hours through powder. Well, this was like what it was going down the back roads in a Chevette, 4 feet high. And I don't know if you know how tall a Chevette is. It's about 4.5 feet high. So basically, white out across the whole shield. And I'm trying to figure out how I got myself into this situation with these 3 hot chicks stranded in the back road, 6 miles straight forward of 4 feet of snow. I'm going to tell you the story. This is going to save lives. This is going to save lives. Number one thing you got to do is never give up. As soon as you give up, you could be toast. So if you're in a winter survival situation, the number one thing you got to think is how to stay warm, how to get warm. And I ain't even playing. If you're in the back, if you're in a Chevette with 3 chicks, you say body heat. You say girls got to warm me up right now. I'm feeling kind of cold. I'm a little bit scared. Man, they started hugging on me. I was like, hey, this is the life, yo. This is the life. I played possum once in my life. I'll consider it again. Ladies, if you ever want to end up in a backseat of a Chevette with a Viking Hashman. I almost said something there. So here we go. Tell you the story now. And this is wild. This is wild. Hard to 6 miles. This is a hard to believe. I'm from Manitoba. There are polar bears. I'm not making this up. Look it up. There are polar bears, 6-hour drive from me. Maybe 8, I don't know. Really, who drives the actual? It's about 6 to 8 hours, depending on how much of a wuss you are away. Hey? Now I'm teasing. So, now, this is how it is. You ask yourself this question. What are you doing living in a place with polar bears, number one? What are you doing? And then now you gotta ask yourself this question. Why not? Hey? Why not? Check it out. Sandy beaches, they're good. They're great. But I don't know if you ever heard of a thing called heat stroke. Holy, I ride hot. I ride super hot. So winter is the best thing that's ever happened to me. It's also some of the worst. I'll tell you, my ears have peeled off my side of my head, bleeding when I was 4 in 1984. My ears almost peeled off the side. You think I'm making this up? Your ears crack at the top and they start to bleed when it gets warm. But they crack and you can actually peel your ears apart. Oh, it's something I'm not even playing. I used to go look in the mirror and peel my ears from my head. And it hurt. It hurt like you don't even know. But it was frostbite. I have ears that are bigger because of the frostbite. So if you look it up, plants have the same thing, but you can, anyway, listen to this. The year is 19. These dudes are older than me. I didn't have my license. It was 15 and a half. It was probably about 15 and a half, maybe 15. 14 or 15, 94 or 95. We've nailed down a year. This is quite the year, yo. 1994 was a beautiful time. 95 was amazing. So, I'm going to tell you the story of the Hashman, the Chevette, and 4 feet of snow. 6 miles down a back road, yo. And it has it has big ditches on each side. Big. If you're from, there are places with big ditches, but you really got to understand steep and deep. They're deadly ditches. Okay, these are deadly ditches. Now you got to remember, you have 4 foot, maybe probably even 8 feet on both sides of snow, water in the bottom, and ice on top, thin layer or whatever, and water underneath that, right? Or however it will work. But pretty much exactly to that nature. Deep ditches, 15 footers, 20-foot ditches, and steep. They go straight down, but pretty wide gap. You could fit maybe 4 Chevettes lengthwise from the top of the ditch, but towards the bottom, probably, I don't know, 1 or 2. This is a long time ago, but I know these ditches. I know what I'm talking about. I'm old school. Now, and this is for farmers' fields and stuff, eh? These are ditches they're for drainage, for waterways. This is how they ended up stealing water from the larger, or diverting all the creeks. This is how they steal the water. Anyway, I'll move on. Trust me, Rastafari, I know everything. David Suzuki did a video of what we call finger lakes that come from the mountains, and then drive down through all the way through Manitoba, down all the way to the bottom, down to the States. And the Red River goes all the way to Mississippi. No joke. You guys can learn a lot from the show. I live in the Pembina Valley. The Pembina Valley is an ancient floodway. Ancient. Think of it as the oldest drain. Well, it's more than that. It's a bowl. It's call it the gutter. I mean, it's a unique. It's a valley. It's a valley. What we refer to as a valley with ups and downs. Think of it as the deepest valley in the world, in North America, by far. Without talking about the canyons. The Grand Canyons don't work the same way as this valley, all right? I'm not going to get into why. I would consider canyons completely rocky. This valley is made up of biological material, like plants and organisms. This isn't a stone crater. There's got to be more to the valley compared to Colorado. Or maybe not. Maybe is Death Valley? I don't think that's there. It's somewhere else. It's in Alberta. So, not Colorado. I went to the dam in Vegas instead of going to the Grand Canyon. Not Colorado. Grand Canyon. I went to the Hoover Dam. So many lies, hardly any truths. The water's uses and the power usage is all lies. Moving on. 6 miles forward, I would say 3 or 4 miles back. But the ditches were steep and we couldn't turn around because the road was narrow. So our best in this, so the 2 older dudes have us pushing, doing the dumbest stuff I've ever seen. And I lose it. And I go puke in the ditch. And I come back because we're sweating. I've taken my Adidas pullover off. I'm in a t-shirt and my jeans and my combat boots. Whatever I had on, I had Nike boots or some sort of boot I wore. Hikers back then. It was pretty awesome. I've lived my life pretty stellar with footwear. And man, I'm pissed. And these guys are looking at me like, why are you yelling at me? And I'm like, because you got me doing most of the, like me and these 3 chicks, and this one is, I call him a weakling. He's older than me, and I'm looking at him like, dude, I will chuck you over that ditch, you know. And he didn't even flinch. He didn't even look at me like wrong or nothing for the rest of the day. I said, neither of you are in charge. And I'm telling you, if you recognize who I am, the better off you'll be. Both of them stop. We've done their thing for 15, 20 minutes, and the chicks are like, huh? They're like, Ashman's mad? Oh. And I grew up with one of these, the hot chicks. One of the hot chicks is my best friend's. She has a brother. I grew up with him. And I grew up with this hot chick too. He's also in the vehicle. So it's maybe two chicks and me and Buddy with these two chicks. So his sister and this other hot chick, and then Buddy in the back of the Chevette. We're kids, we're young, so we can squish in this. Yes, 4 people. We did stuff that you probably shouldn't do when we were young. And everyone's older than me and Buddy. Me and Buddy in the back are the youngest, and he actually plays hockey with both of these guys, and the guy driving is like his captain or whatever, his captain. So he's basically like listening to him because of this. And I noticed this. And I'm like, what the? I'm like, dude, you could take him. Why are you taking that lip? So we just do whatever they say for a while, eh? And plus we're the youngest. Like these other 2 dudes in the front are 16 and 17 or something like that. And we're both 13 or 14. And the chick beside me is 15 and the other chick was 14. And I'm like, well, we're both 13 and 14, something like I don't, doesn't matter. 14 and 15 we are. Something like that. I don't know how old the other guy is actually. I just know he was in my grade. He might have been a year older than me though. Or younger, it doesn't matter. And so we do my idea. I tell these guys, I say, you guys go walk so far up ahead in the snow right now and start making tracks in that snow until I can't even see you. And I said, Steve, you start sweeping snow off from left side of the road, and if I get you 3 girls to sweeping snow off on the right side of the road all the way up to where they're walking. And I said, we're just going to start doing this and clear the road until we can pick up speed like we had before. But they started braking and be like, oh, no, we gotta stop. Where are we going? And I'm like, dude, if you stop, we're screwed. And he stopped. And that I yelled at him for that initially. And we were only going like 30 or 40 kilometers an hour. And the snow was just plowing. We were plowing through the snow. We had to get home. We could die out there. And we had no cell phones. This is 1993 and 94, whatever year it was. Before, and there was no houses. So of course, instantly I think to myself, if we knew there was a farmer's house somewhere, he could come get us with a tractor or take us back to his house with a skidoo or something, wait for the plow. Well, we can't leave the Chevette in the middle of the road anyway for the plow to hit, because there was going to be a plow coming through. Just we had no idea if it was that night or the next morning or the next night. Anyway, my plan works. Everyone, the 2 in the front are thanking me. They're ready to do stuff to me that I would never want to do to me. And I'm like, you guys just turn around, don't talk. I said, I'm so disappointed. I'm so pissed. I said, so pissed. I said, if I didn't know you guys, I would have beat you both up. And they're like, yeah, we could tell. That's why we didn't mess around. Man, I had one other altercation in my whole life with a guy that was 2 years older than me and kind of thought he was a boss, but he wasn't. Like, he was just a lanky, fairly good looking dude. So you know how people were in school, right? Like, if you're good looking, you thought you were everything until someone drove you into the dirt and told you were nothing with your good looking hair, right? And I had wicked hair and I'm a good looking guy, but I wasn't like this dude, right? I wasn't a goof. And this one time I made this guy, I gave him a choice. I said, are you going to back down like a wuss, or are you going to man up? And he backed down like a wuss in front of 100, 200 people, eh? And from that moment on, he never, ever again, and this was years later, but I had a grudge against this guy from that day. I was a kid, I'm allowed to. I was 13 or 14, I was still young. I was 15 or 16 when this happened. And I remember it was in the parking lot of the high school. And this is where the whole school hung out. It's pretty awesome. All the cool kids, I should reiterate that. Hundreds of us. I grew up in a time when stuff was awesome. Most people don't really, maybe in California, you guys were sort of, I almost said something. We're just a different we do things differently here, and we grew up pretty cool. And the teachers would try and like, I can't really say too much, but let's just say the teachers try to gang up on people, but the whole school wouldn't have it. And it was the first time in my life I saw the power of the people. And we were always good people. We were always good. They were always trying to bully us, always trying to take away our any type of freedoms or any small gestures of hope we had. They were always taking stuff from us every time. And we noticed this from a young age, but we started to realize, like, you know what, we're sick of it, And one day we didn't even all. It was like hive mind. None of us knew what was going to happen, but we all stood up for one another at that very moment. Let's just say the other entity and the 7 or 8 or 12 bully teachers and assistant teachers that came to try and round us up, they all walked, tucked tail and walked, and the rest got back in their vehicles and took off. Most kids were chucking rocks. We weren't doing that, but like you can see the power that is in the people at any given moment. But you have to recognize that once you are no longer young, it's not even rebellion. It's not even rebel. You're not even being a rebel. You're standing up for freedom. And you will not take anything less. You see the groups of people that stand up against tyranny in China and all these places over the last 3, 4, 5 years? Young people worldwide protesting. Not the middle age or the seniors, the young people. And that breaks my heart more than anything, to see the parents of those young people not standing in solidarity with their children. Every single family member should be there when the young person does the right thing. The family should be so proud, overwhelmed with joy that they've raised a proper child to do the right thing. That they can recognize at such an early age what freedom should be. Are you kidding me? That's why I strongly and greatly hope for change here in Canada, in the world, through means of, deliberation. We must discuss. We must not allow them to steal our voices and to hindering us by not allowing our voices to be heard by the masses who apparently love what I have to say. But my ability to gain new viewership isn't as big as people who promote firearms, or a certain politician, or a certain food company, or a certain power drink. These are just despicables. Despicables. The masses should wake up and realize overnight what is happening right now, and you shouldn't be following people who are in cahoots with these evil, sadistic corporations that fully intend to make us eat bugs within the next 10 to 20 years. There, I said it. I love you all so much. I love everybody equally, and I always will. Always, always will. I don't value those who are greed driven. Period. Full stop. If a child has less, I would love to help them once I have, the means, right? Every kid should have an opportunity to play a video game of some sort. Not every single video game, but one or two. Every kid should have the right to play a video game. And it doesn't have to be a Call of Duty, it could be a Minecraft, or it could be a Super Mario. But you all should grow up with some sort of fun factor as a child. No child should ever be forced into labor camps or far worse than that. But yet in this world, at this very moment, there are children who suffer worse fate than no video games right now there. And it's just, it's mind blowing to know there is an industry of people that pay for things like this, you know? It blows my mind. They worry so much about a plant and do so little to help children, you know? Oh, they know everything you're doing. Then how come there's children tied up somewhere right now? No, seriously. They know everything you're doing. Everything. But yet they don't know where the children are. That's a lie. It's a lie. Think about it. I'll say it again. They know everything you've done today and every word you've spoken and every place you've been. But they can't find the children that are tied up right now. They don't know where they are. Think about that. And remember, I have the greatest show on YouTube that will ever exist. I created this. I'm not paid by any corporation. You know, I make small money compared to any, you know, person who goes to work on a daily basis. I make small money compared to you. This is selfless. 6 years of selflessness. How much have you given to what you refer to as society? To better it, though. I'm talking to better it. You've done a lot of harm, but how many times a day do you better society with your words? And as the Hashman, I can reassure you that I didn't just start this overnight. I've been with my wife 20 years. You can ask her one day. I'll do a stream and be like, hey babe, have I always been this way since you met me? And then we'll ask my mother. And I'll be, hey ma, have I always stuck up for the underdog? Always? And she'll say, oh, fuck yeah, she'll say. You wait. You wait. There's something to be said for the man or woman who sticks up for the underdog every time. No questions asked. Rastafari. Somebody who cares. Who cares about the underdog? Rastafari. I love you all so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. If you get to join me on the next stream, lucky you. I'll be back with another banger. I love, this is full of joy, right straight from my heart, my conscience, and my soul. So today's episodes are pure gold. And when I label them pure gold, man, do I mean it. Man, do I mean it. So this is Monday. I'll timestamp the date and I'll refer and reference this date's episodes for years to come. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in to today's episodes. If you missed any of today's episodes, please go back and watch them. Listen to them. Listen closely. Have a bath and just listen to them. There's some great, all right? Ooh, these, I'm going to sharpen all these scissors. I'm going to have to use these ones. These are medical grade scissors I bought at a yard sale off my neighbor. Pretty unreal. I'm not going to lie, these are the sharpest scissors I've ever had. And they're awesome. You should see the logo on. I actually should show these scissors to a buddy of mine. He'll know about them for sure. Like, oh, these are these brand. But there's no name on them. There's just some symbols. Very interesting symbols. For a $500 super chat, I'll show you these scissors. I know there's something up with the symbol. That's why I'm not showing the symbol is what I'm getting at. But if, I mean, I'd sure love to show that symbol today. $500 super chat holler, and I will send you a picture in the email of your choice. You can email me, send me a comment with an email you want the picture sent to, and I will do it. I'll send you a picture of these scissors with the symbols that are on them. Pretty cool. Pretty cool, man. Yeah. So, I'm going to head out into this ethereal plane of existence, this enclosed system of gases. Sorry, did that make too much sense for a lot of really smart people that didn't know? It's okay. I did the same thing too when I heard those words. I thought about it. Rastafari. This ethereal plane of existence. An enclosed system of gases. With gases. Believe it or not. Now you know. I don't understand I guess once you've reached where I am and you've had the questions that I've questioned for so damn long. The moon is a mirror. It all makes so much sense. And I'm happy with the answer. I'm so happy. I'm happy to know. Like, I sort of refer to the Pembina Valley as the gutter, the biggest gutter in the world. I wouldn't necessarily call it that. There is an abundance of life on the edges and at the top of it, and even in the middle and the bottom. Okay? So, and it's beautiful life here as well. So, but in terms of a gutter system, if you're talking irrigation system, then we can forget about the hateful meaning of gutter, I guess, if you want to word it like that. And we can recognize, I don't know how I do it, other than to say I am the hash man, of course, obviously. Take my card. Sorry if you thought you were. It's nothing against you. You can also be a hash man. You're just not on my level, yo. You gotta, and I know y'all have. Man, y'all watch this show. You didn't even know what bubble was until you met me, yo. You never saw it nothing like I showed you, and you never will again. I quit showing, but I'm gonna show one day. But I haven't decided. I might do it on Patreones. I don't know. I love YouTube, so I want to do it here, but you guys, YouTube has to pay me big money for that. I mean, if I'm talking big money, I want all the money in the world, and then I'll redistribute all the money in the world equally to you all and keep half of it. What? No, I only need half as much as you guys. I'm way smarter. I'll make that money back way faster, right? I'm gonna get ya. Those light burns don't hurt, do they? You got a big ego? You got a small brain and a big ego? And they hurt ya. I'm only teasing. But see, the problem is these. I'll tell you. This is the biggest thing I can tell you. The reason we got out of that 6 mile road that day was because my mind is powerful. You understand? It's not that I could do it on my own. I needed everybody else. Of course, and I was kicking snow on the other side with the one dude. You know what I mean? Like I was kicking snow for. I plowed through most of it, and then I left, 30-40% of the snow for the other 5 people to push away. Anyway, I ain't playing. And then, yeah, that happened. So I got us out of that situation. And it would have been detrimental to all of us if I hadn't detrimental. So I saved a bunch of people that day too. But I don't look at it like that. I just call it boss level. Boss level moves, you know? Absolute boss level moves. And that's what separates me from most. Now, if you want to have a discussion with somebody else, ask them if they ever went for a bag ride in a Chevette, you know? And we took a couple wrong turns. Well, number one, we didn't know where we were most of the time. That's why they call it back roads. But we did have a general idea of how to get out of there, but we weren't even really sure. Plus, we were running low on gas because you burn up 50 times more gas when you're running through 4 feet of snow. It's just the way it is. We were running hot, we were running dirty. It smelled like a skidoo in the car. And that happened, you know, that happened. But when I see winter, I think of the young people that don't understand how to survive, eh? You know, you go on that one ski trip and you hit that one snowbank and the car doesn't start or the van doesn't start. You guys are in some big problems fast, eh? So, it's different if it's daytime and it's a busy highway. I mean, you're probably safe as you wouldn't believe, but especially in Canada. But if it happens like way up north and the ditch is deep enough and it's heavy blizzarding and you know they've now closed down the highway or wherever you're on, you're in big trouble. Now you're in big trouble. And those situations actually happen a lot more often than people think. And the other thing that can happen is if your tailpipe is clogged and you start carbon monoxiding yourself in the vehicle. I read a story that made me so sad last year about a woman, a young girl from Chicago, I think it was. But like, so many people drove by her. It was very sad. Right. So, I think that is going to be her for this one. I got my... Or just wait a minute. Give me a minute. I'll be right back. I'm get to some pressing matters here fairly quickly. I'll come back and forth, I guess. We'll see.
What's up, homies? Yo, what's going on in the chat? Straight in the house. And the poll is over. The stats are in. You believe pizza is a god. 66.6% of you believe it. 33% are still in denial. What?